there guys, this is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and today I'm coming at you with a Les Misérables reading vlog, as well as kind of like a recent reads update thing. I have been reading Name of the Wind and I just finished it on audiobook and it was amazing. I'm looking to find another thing to be able to listen to on audiobook, and that's going to be Les Mis. I also have a live show for that coming up on Saturday, so I have a whole bunch of reading to. I have like at least 15%, probably more of the book. And if you've read Les Mis, you know that 1% is a lot. That's going to be mostly what this is about. I'm struggling with it right now because I'm in the section about the Battle of Waterloo, which if you've read any Hugo before, like The Hunchback of Notre Dame, you know he likes to go on these tangents about whatever he's really interested in. So he's doing that right now with the French Revolution Battle of Waterloo. And it's not the most exciting thing, but I really enjoy philosophical asides in books, so that's not the issue. The issue is I don't have the time or attention span to sit down with a super long section and figure out what he's trying to say. So I've been listening to it on audiobook, and right now I'm going to go back through some of that and see if I can kind of pick out his arguments. It's not like he's hard to discern what he's trying to say. I just have to find the moments where he says what he's trying to say. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm excited about it. I've been filming YouTube shorts all day for the library, and for my channel I uploaded one. It's been very productive, but I'm exhausted. Also, as far as other recent reads, I'm in the middle of Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolfe. By the way, there's my beautiful Name of the Wind anniversary edition over there. I love it. I need to go through that. Maybe I'll show you some pictures of it later, because I almost entirely listened to that on audiobook. And there's also like lots of lotion and tissues over there. There's a peek into my life. Mrs. Dalloway. I'm not enjoying that very much because I just think it's like needlessly difficult. The stream of consciousness style is not necessary to show the beautiful psychology and stuff that she's doing. Like, she is showing some beautiful psychology about how people think about atheism and stuff like that, and it's like interesting, and there's some beautiful stuff. I mean, the characters are just amazing, but her kind of narrative about faith to me is not very enlightened, I guess. I don't want to get too far into that because that's not what this is about. Just know it's not like my favorite thing, even though everybody I'm reading it with loves it. So I'm about halfway through that. I would love to finish that by the end of the month if I can, but I'm also doing a buddy read of Laurus with Faith from Faith in Books, and I kind of want to prioritize that because I'm enjoying it more. It is a modern book, and modern books aren't my favorite, but it is set in the medieval period, and it's sort of written like with a lot of medieval touches, like Russian medieval alphabet, and I'm just intrigued by that one. And also it was a gift to me from Faith, so I definitely want to prioritize that. I don't know which of those I'll get to by the end of the month, but obviously Les Mis is gonna have to be my focus for the next couple days. I have the live show on Saturday morning with Naomi over on her channel. By the time you're seeing this, I'm sure that will be over. So now on to Les Mis. I'm hoping that I can focus really hard on the book, maybe an hour, sort of get to the story section of the book, get through this more difficult section about the Battle of Waterloo, and then I'll be able to listen to it while I clean up the house, go for a walk, and cook some dinner. I'm making some pork chops. I'm excited to try that, and I will update you guys with my progress. Honestly, I feel a little bit like I need a nap now, but here we go. Hey guys, okay, good news. I finished the section about the Battle of Waterloo, and he said that basically I'm not trying to tell you all about the battle. It's not like a recounting of the history. I'm just telling you all about it for like, what, over an hour in my Kindle book. Closer to 2 hours, I think. All about the Battle of Waterloo and his feelings about it, just so you can get to a scene at the end where something happens that is important to the story. He already did that with Monseigneur Bienvenu. In this case, I think I figured out what he was saying about Waterloo very generally, but I don't know much about the history or politics of the period, despite trying to like study up on the French Revolution. But basically he was saying that there is a liberal school of scholarship that really likes the Battle of Waterloo because with it came freedom and liberty. And he's like, no, I'm not really one of those. I think that freedom and liberty came from it, but it was like accidental. It's not like that was the aim of the battle. He's a fan of the accident that came along with it, but not of the battle. He actually calls Waterloo a massacre. And he has some choice words about Wellington and and realizing that I never capped it off. So here we go. Kevin and I just went on a grocery store shopping trip. But I'm in the car on the way home. It's actually the day of the 24-hour readathon for Les Mis. I'm already starting the next section of Les Mis, and it reminded me that I wanted to share my thoughts on the previous section. Before I dive in further, I did manage to finish this section before our last live show. I was not feeling well enough to actually join the live show on screen. However, we had a really good time. I just stayed in the chat. The girls did amazing. They did an amazing job. We had some great conversation. We talked about doing a watch along. I actually really ended up enjoying the section about the Battle of Waterloo. I feel like I learned a lot about Napoleon, especially reading an article from the Times magazine afterwards. I'll just add a little bit about what I learned from that Time article. Hi guys, I just wanted to break in here with some of what I learned about Waterloo from history, and then we'll get back to the previous clip where I was driving. What I learned: Napoleon actually was inspired by the French Revolution, which is exciting to me because I was researching the French Revolution before we actually started Les Mis, just because I wanted to understand. I knew that it would come up. This is quite a bit later than the Reign of Terror, which happened in 1793. The Battle of Waterloo was in like 1815 or something like that. So basically, at the time that this happened, Napoleon was on his final return from retirement, if you will, or exile. He came back from Elba and shocked the world by gaining support again. So he met up with Wellington at Waterloo. They had been nemeses in the past. They met up again. Wellington just gave him the final defeat that eventually he abdicated to his son, and that was the end of the returns of Napoleon. So it was a very, very big, important battle. That's probably why there is this here on the front of History magazine, and that's probably why Victor Hugo talked about it. That's probably partly why he included it in this story and the whole long lecture about it, even though only like one thing actually comes out of it. Just cracks me up, his side quests. So the whole business of the trench was not historical. I learned that from Naomi and Krista, who have been listening to podcasts. But it was historical that there was really bad rainy weather. The muddy conditions, as a result, delayed the beginning of the Battle of Waterloo, and that actually gave an edge to the English because they were able to wait for their Prussian allies to come and like help crush Napoleon's forces. So that was actually very decisive. So really fascinating stuff. I hope that you enjoyed hearing a little bit more about Waterloo. In a second here, we'll get back to my former clip. And then I'm going to film another little clip here that I will put at the end of the video that just is talking about my plans for August, which we're already like halfway through probably by the time you're seeing this. Apparently it's very much historical fiction. So I'm a little bit confused now about why he kind of fictionalized it so much. It was really interesting the way he did it. It makes me just wonder about some of his other research. But yeah, I really actually enjoyed that section. I thought it was really beautiful. This whole section had a lot of pathos, especially because we meet little Cosette for the first time. With her being a little bit older, she's becoming more of a character rather than just like a plot device. And it's very sad, her situation that she's going through with the Thénardiers. And I just love that she is rescued. And we're seeing very much how a lot of this plot is basically people chasing other people or people running from those who are chasing them. So in a very great degree, the story is Jean Valjean and then Cosette being chased by Javert. As far as the plot of the book, there wasn't very much other than Valjean with Cosette picking her up from the Thénardiers. It's a great section. I loved it. But then we went straight back into another side quest with the monastery. And that one, I don't know. I don't really know much about monastic history, but he was saying things like, oh yeah, they buried people alive and there was all these terrible things happening, especially in the Spanish monasteries. They're just evil. He has a very negative view of them, of nunneries and all that stuff. I didn't really enjoy that section. It was very pointed. I mean, it's not like he's ever not pointed, but like, I just didn't really like the way he was pointing in this case. It really makes me wonder about Victor Hugo's religion. I think he may have been kind of like a Tiffany from Beautiful Minutiae actually researched this. I've tried in the past, but it's not like easy to research. He's not super clear. I thought maybe he had kind of like the typical romantic view of religion, which is like, oh, there's like some natural religion, but screw organized religion. And maybe it is. But he believes in some kind of theological rationalism, and Tiffany said it reminded her a bit of like Jefferson kind of rewriting his Bible without all of the mystery stuff. So if he's like opposed to mystery in any sort of actual faith, then it makes sense why he would hate monasteries, because they're all about touching the mystery of God. And faith is a big part of faith. That's why it's called faith. That's about all I have to say about that. But regardless, I wanted to tell you kind of my recent reads. Obviously, I am continuing with Les Mis. I last night just started the Communist Manifesto. There's so much like introductory material. Like here are like the official introductions, and then there's like a bunch of prefaces, and then like there's a whole bunch of notes at the back. So the actual Communist Manifesto is not very big, but I would like to read as much of the introductory stuff as I can. And then I'm going to have a live show with Pete from Ponderings of Pete, who is really, really cool. You should definitely go check him out and subscribe. And some of his friends, Billy Bonsai, I believe, will be with us, whom I really like as well. He really loves Dostoevsky, which just makes me so happy. And then I keep wanting to call him Benedict, but that's not his name. Gregory LaPerche. A lot of his friends from Discords call him Benedict. There's a whole backstory behind that. But anyways, yeah, I'll include both of their channels down below so you can go subscribe. They're kind of newer, smaller booktubers, so definitely go check them out. And as far as my August reading plans, I would really like to finish a bunch of stuff, basically. That's kind of my August reading plans before I start anything other than the Communist Manifesto and Memoirs of a Geisha. I would really just like to finish stuff. Iron Gold, I'm very close to finishing, and I'm at the point where I can actually listen on audiobook that now. Here's Memoirs of a Geisha, which I'm buddy reading this month, and honestly, I'm completely in the mood for this. Very excited. But before I really get into this, I would like to finish Jane Eyre. Oh, and Laurus, which is by Eugene Vodolazkin, and actually the ebook was a gift from Faith and Books, who is just lovely. I will also include her down below. I really have loved her channel for a long, long time, and she's a small booktuber. Definitely go check out and support. She's very like well-versed in church and church history, and I love that. That's really awesome for our Laurus buddy read, because it's all about Russian Orthodox faith. I have been putting some quotes about that on Instagram. I'll put those here for you. So I'd like to finish that if I can, although it's been a little bit too modern in a sense for me. Like, it's just really intense. I'm having trouble with like the bloodiness of it and stuff, so we'll see how I do with that. But if I can, I'd like to finish that maybe on audiobook. That's what I just did with Miss Dalloway, which I'll talk about maybe in my next vlog. I am just having so much trouble with modern works right now, which makes me nervous because I'm supposed to be reading The Master and Margarita this month with a bunch of my friends whom I just adore, like Tiffany and Noah and Christina, and there's so many friends reading this with us. And Alfred, he's like a new YouTuber, Alfred in the Book Cave. It's an awesome name. I would really love to get to this, especially because Peg bought it for me. Peg also bought me the Communist Manifesto, which is not surprising. She's really big on history and like political movements and stuff. Also an awesome channel, Peg at the History Shelf. Man, this is just like the shout out vlog. I really do want to read this, and I have this beautiful copy of it. Mrs. Dalloway really took it out of me. Laurus has taken it out of me. I know I've talked about a lot of books so far, but I actually had 2 other books that I was sort of thinking, oh, maybe I'll mood read them, we'll see. And then I have some audiobooks as well. This is August of the Apt read along that Alan is doing from the Library of Alexandria. And then Michael Nip, a Finland Ascends read along buddy read in his Discord for his patrons. So much to do. So much to do. So yeah, those are my plans. I hope you enjoyed hearing about this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And leave me a comment down below. Please do tell me your thoughts. I really love hearing from you guys. Sometimes it takes me a while to get back to comments, but I nearly always do. There's a couple videos that I was just like, oh, I just can't. My health issues have been really rough. I'm doing 2 physical therapy sessions out of town every week, and those are really taking it out of me. But as you can see, I'm trying to get back into vlogging. This is not the editor that I plan to be using for forever, but it seems like it does the job for now. So yay. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much. Also, just so you know, that if you watch the ads, all of the ad revenue is going to go to the wonderful charity Families Together. So I really appreciate your support in watching the ads. I will link a video down below or up here of a live stream that I had with the founder of Families Together. It was productivity sprints, but it tells you like when we're sprinting and when we're talking. So if you just want to watch the talking, you can do that. If you just want to do the sprinting, you can watch the whole thing. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you again so much. Bye-bye.